Good morning. Only the two plays for me yesterday, but still coming out with a reasonable enough return. First one of the day, Shanghai Shenhua, Shandong Taishan. Note the odds, 1.46 home favourite. Note the score at half time, 2-2. Penalty there. So I laid the draw second half in the hope that Shanghai Shenhua would score the next goal, as they were 1.46 favourites. Bang. That's the goal. Not the greatest profit on the planet, but it all adds up. It's a simple lay to back, lay at 3.3, back at 6. And thankfully, I cashed out because the scoreline ended 3-3. So it may not sound like a big profit. It's all relative. And it all adds up. That's 7% of 100 if you're looking for 100 quid per trading session. So some you'll make a decent amount, others you'll have to sit on it, I'm afraid. Small bits, but they do accumulate over the course of a day. So that was the first one. Lay the draw, cash out. Elsewhere, wow. We were umming and ahhing about Sheffield United yesterday. 3 1-0 defeats in the last 4 matches. But this is just, I don't know what to say. I didn't lay Ipswich 1-0 up. Thankfully, have the in-play stats to use as a confirmation tool as to whether the Blades will actually turn up or not. And, well, there's your story. Some severe problems at Sheffield United. Why on earth? Well, they got rid of last season's manager. This season's is, well, he makes Ten Hag look like Pep Guardiola. The curse of the Champions League didn't affect Marseille yesterday. The simple trading method for Marseille is at home. They're scared witless by the home support. So you're going to get good performances. That's 9 goals in 2 home matches now. Red card, I would suggest, helped out a little bit there. So the curse of the Champions League not really showing itself yesterday, but or did it? We'll find out a little bit later. Bayer Leverkusen and Eintracht Frankfurt, new manager for Bayer Leverkusen, back to what you'd expect of an Alonso Bayer Leverkusen, not a Den Haag Bayer Leverkusen. New manager now, 3-1 win, both sides involved in the Champions League next week. Very, very difficult match to trade because of the new manager syndrome and the fact they're involved in the Champions League. So despite the amount of matches, for me, it was a very difficult night's reading of matches. And it doesn't help when you get 3 out of 3 odds on favourites at home or doing the business. UCD against Longford. Did Longford score first? I can't remember. I don't think they did. No. So it wasn't a play there. So despite the amount of matches yesterday, very difficult number of matches to read for differing reasons. So I was happy to get out with a reasonable gain, and it all adds up at the end of the month. The Eerste Divisie, this was where my second profit came, de Graafschap and Willemsvee. What I tend to trade is odds on favourites or thereabouts. In-play stats were absolutely crucial for this trade as well. That's the only reason I did it. I don't normally go favouring evens favourites in an Eerste Divisie match. You can see the Eerste Divisie is leaning heavily towards goals, isn't it? So de Graafschap conceded the first goal. Their in-play stats were just absolutely impeccable. Off we go. Get the equaliser. In this particular instance, I went to the +1 market because I like 1.78 and I don't like the league. So £37 profit for a Friday night, which is normally my night off. And that's to £40 stakes. So increase your stakes, increase your returns. Bodo Glimt had an easy ride yesterday, 7 goals. Pre-Champions League for Bodo Glimt as well, but absolutely no trading angle at all. They've scored first in every single home match this season. This is what you're looking for these slip-ups. Benfica against Santa Clara. Benfica actually led in this match. 1-1 it ends. That's your first Champions League casualty at short odds. One of them or two of them are going to get in. If you're laying these odds on favourites, 1.14 Bodo Glimt leading 1-0 because it's Champions League, by all means do so, because you're going to pick up one or two of these which will go astray. Partick Thistle, I was waiting for them to ignite. 1.53 home favourite, just wasn't seeing it. But obviously the market got them right. Adrian's taking the lead there, and Partick Thistle coming straight back. Elche, excellent result for Elche, newly promoted. And as ever with newly promoted, it's very difficult to read how they will progress against a side they've never met before. Similar story for Sevilla, not meeting a newly promoted side before. Could be an unknown factor, and indeed an excellent point for Elche, who've started their season superbly in La Liga. So yesterday, 37 quid profit for a Friday night out of 2 plays. Not too bad. I will take that all day long. One of them a day. You're heading to over 1,000 a week, a month. Looking on to today and these lesser leagues, my simple focus will be on the odds-on favourites there. Red Bull Salzburg. Again, are they pre and post Champions League? I don't think I saw their name. I think they were knocked out, weren't they, earlier on? So they're in the Europa League. But it's Champions League week this week, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. So Union Saint-Gilloise involved in the Champions League are away at Dender. This is the banana skin when you're an odds-on favourite involved in the Champions League and you're away from home. Newly promoted La Louvière could have a target on their back against Club Brugge. Chinese Super League, always worth a watch, but no odds on favourites today, so I might just give that one a wide berth. 2 odds on favourites in Croatia. Going to pick them up for later on. Slavia Prague, Plzen. Watch out for, I don't think Slavia Prague are involved in the Champions League. You can find out here. Well, we're already at the website, but we'll go Soccer24. Have a look on Tuesday. These are the teams that could falter this weekend, like Benfica. So you go off to Tuesday. So the Champions League is spread between Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. So these are the sides to look out for today. Or over this weekend. So you can see Marseille yesterday getting the job done away at Real Madrid. Arsenal, PSV, Atletico Bilbao, Benfica drawing 1-1. Karabakh were actually losing in their Azerbaijani match as well. Juve, Dortmund, Real Madrid, Marseille, Spuds. Watch out for them. They could be vulnerable. Thomas Frank, not used to juggling Champions League with Premier League. So that's going to be fascinating. Wednesday, the Champions League continues. Olympiacos, Slavia Prague could be playing today. Bodo Glimt played yesterday. Ajax, Inter, Bayern, Chelsea. One or two of these sides are going to struggle today, or over this weekend. So just note the names. I've done so in research for members, so they are clear. Possible Champions League upsets. Club Brugge playing today, as we've just seen. So keep an eye out on them. Bayer Leverkusen getting the win yesterday under new management. Eintracht Frankfurt. Man City in a Manchester derby. Newcastle, Barca, Sporting Lisbon with Benfica drawing only yesterday. Sporting might struggle themselves. So Slavia Prague involved in the Champions League. I would be laying them as they lead at 1.14 or lower. Premier League today, Arsenal involved in the Champions League, as you know. Against a new manager, Nottingham Forest, we've got the North London derby connection, and Postecoglu is back for Forest. That makes this a very, very difficult match to read. Ordinarily, Nottingham Forest under Nuno Espirito Santo, incredibly difficult to break down. But under Ange Postecoglu, conceding 2+ goals for fun were Tottenham. Bournemouth and Brighton, 2.35 the favourite. Far too tough to call. Crystal Palace against Sunderland. Should be eyeing 3 points today, Crystal Palace against a newly promoted side. Everton and Aston Villa. The Jack Grealish factor has improved Everton no end. They're even comfortable enough scoring 2+ goals. Aston Villa struggling to score this season. I don't know what's gone on with the villains. Fulham against Leeds. Should be eyeing 3 points. Leeds far, far better at home. Winning at home, losing away. Newcastle involved in the Champions League. Might struggle. Eddie Howe against Wolves, who are a little bit of an unknown quantity. That 2-3 result against Everton suggesting they might have goals in them. West Ham and Tottenham is a London derby, and Tottenham are involved in the Champions League. So, for me, that's a tricky one for the Spuds. Brentford against Chelsea. Chelsea involved in the Champions League. Another London derby for Chelsea. I think that's 4 in a row. English Championship, League One and League Two, you'll see in the live stream today. My main focus will be primarily in these lower tiers on odds-on favourites. It's a strategy which works for me. It's such a competitive league. Let's just hope that the market has got these odds-on favourites spot on. So we've got Luton. Only the 2, really. Luton and Barnsley today. So that suggests it's a very tough English League One. So already you're on the back foot with that. Tranmere, Swindon, Bristol Rovers and Crawley Town. Again, a tough League 2 coupon to compound with our post-international pre-Champions League big guns as well. French League, a couple of odds-on favourites. Monaco are involved in Europe, so they could be vulnerable away from home. Saint-Etienne, newly relegated, need to be picking up points. In the Bundesliga, Bayern Munich involved in the Champions League, as you know. Dortmund also involved in the Champions League. Another banana skin away from home. Odds-on favourites. Leipzig, tricky one for them. Union Berlin-Hoff, far too difficult to pick as well. 2.63 the favourite. Hoffenheim matches, you tend to see those goals before half-time. FC Köln, the newly promoted, could be vulnerable away at the Wolf. Bundesliga 2. Couple of odds-on favourites, 3 odds-on favourites at home. Will have my interest at midday today. Serie A, Juve involved and Inter involved in the Champions League. Napoli involved in the Champions League. That tells a big story, doesn't it? Market's not expecting the usual clean sheet win for Napoli. So we've got that Champions League Ajax cloud hanging over us. PSV involved in the Champions League as well. Again, odds-on favourite away. I would encourage you, if you can get short odds in play, if they're leading by 0-1 or 0-2, lay them. 1 or 2 of them are going to do a Benfica and just cock it up. So we've got Poland and Norway. Portugal La Liga, Sporting involved in the Champions League. So just be wary. Watch out for Porto and Sporting today, with Benfica only drawing yesterday. It's an ideal opportunity for these two to get ahead. SPL, always worth a look. It's been a very tradable league, I must say. So I'll be looking with interest. Rangers, absolutely shambolic early season. So watch out. Hearts could give them a game. Hearts 3rd last season. La Liga, newly promoted Real Oviedo. Getafe will be looking to get 3 points. Real Madrid, away from home, involved in the Champions League. This is going to be another potential banana skin. Atletico Bilbao involved in the Champions League. Now, this could be difficult for Atleti because they're one of those sides who don't appear in the Champions League that often. Atletico Madrid involved in the Champions League as well. So we've got this cloud hanging over us today. I will be on hand for members of footballtradingprofits.com. Galatasaray away in the Champions League as well. I'll be on hand for a live stream for members of footballtradingprofits.com today in exceptional form at the moment. Betting bank ticking over nicely. I'm just looking to pluck out the quality As long as the in-play stats are implicit, which they were with De Graafschap, we've got a good opportunity of any plays coming in. So I'll see you for a live stream at 2:30 p.m. Make sure you are subscribed to youtube.com/at football trading profits. Okay, be alerted to the live stream here. If it's members only, we will find out. So have a great day. I'll be on hand from midday for members of footballtradingprofits.com. I gave you De Graafschap yesterday, so I hope you cleaned up on that. One just a slight concern yesterday. This market was continuously suspended after the goal, so we couldn't trade out. Now that's going to be incredibly frustrating if this ends 1-2 with a late Willems goal. Nothing we can do about it. Betfair will not be liable. It does say going in play, but it was suspended, as were a lot of the Eerste Divisie matches. So just be careful, particularly if you're trading Norwegian First Division, something like that. Some of those matches will be live and then they'll be permanently suspended, and you may have a position. So that's why I've got a full liability here. I couldn't cash out because it was suspended. So that was very disappointing had that been anything other than a 1-1. Have a great day. It looks like a very interesting day of football, but we've got that Champions League post-international break. Could fatigue some teams and some players, and there might be some little niggle injuries. Pre-Champions League, how on earth will Thomas Frank suss this out this weekend? Difficult for Tottenham's new manager, isn't it? Coming off the back of an international break. Not going to have that too many international players at Brentford, but Tottenham is going to have to manage that. He's going to have to manage putting out a winnable side today and then putting out a winnable side in the Champions League away, I think it is. So interesting. Have a great day, and I'll see you for a live stream at 2:30 p.m.